You're listening to Inside Real Estate with Irv Tremblay on Newstalk 980.
Irv Tremblay, good to see you once again. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year, Dave.
Ah.
You know,
How was the holiday season for you?
holiday season was great. Stuck around home, went to a movie, that True Grit, pretty good movie. Didn't do anything very exciting. But you know, what I think is really pretty exciting, January 1st, and you and I are working.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're here inside real estate. We're trying to, help people out in the new year, and I think that's great. It's good to be here.
And it is first day of the new year, too. So can we kind of maybe take a look back at 2010? Because it's kind of what you do this time of the year is that, okay, how did the year go and what's coming up in the future? And how was 2010 for real estate in the city?
Well, 2010 was, I think, a really good year in that it was steady. It was nice and steady. We started the year out exactly the way we're starting out right now, between 400 and 500 listings. That typically doesn't make it a real hot, crazy market early in the year when you have 500 listings in Regina. If you remember back to 2007, which was a banner year, we started the year out, as 100 listings. So we're starting out the same way we did last year. Last year was a good year. It wasn't quite as good in sales as it was in 2009. Prices went up a little bit, though, which is great. So it's going to be a good, steady year. You know, we always get those predictions this time of year from a lot of real estate experts and gurus, and they're saying things like, double-digit increases, and people get all excited about that and want to list their house at high prices, or they're not really motivated and they stick their house on the market. I think it's going to be a nice, steady year again, like 2010. So, we're going into the year with 500 listings, and I think we're going to get an increase in prices, and I think it's going to be a nice year in real estate.
You know, it's funny, you talk about going in kind of with roughly the same number of listings as January 2010, and here we're sitting January 2011. And we've talked about this before. A lot of times people think, oh, no, the time to sell your home is, when the flowers are blooming in the garden. And you look at kind of the summer months over the last year, and the number of homes that were listed, there's a lot more competition. And this is a good time to list your home this time of year. Less competition.
Absolutely. People get caught all the time, and agents have to communicate this to them so they understand it. It is all about supply and demand, and that's what it's about. And people get caught all the time. If we look at our numbers and track our numbers 2010, which you and I do here every time we do the show, we kind of take a few minutes to look at the numbers, don't spend the whole show on numbers, but if you look last year, we were steady, 450, 500, 475, January, February, March, April, May, June, things were rolling along pretty good. We had some nice increases. Oh, wow. A lot of people put their house on in June. The flowers are up, the leaves are on the tree, and, oh, my pool's open, and all of those things, right? Wow. We did one show. We come back 2 weeks later. We go from 500 to 900 listings. Well, those people that waited would have been much better off being on in January, February, March, April, if they were willing to sell their house then. And even if they didn't want to move then, in those months, you can get a long possession.
Well, and that's what I was going to say, too. I think for some people, of course, they're thinking, oh, the kids, we got to wait till they're done school in June, so we don't want it to. You can get a long possession with a good agent.
Absolutely. Happens all the time. It's interesting that you should say that. I had a lady call me from Ottawa the other day, and her husband's in the RCMP, transferred back to Regina. I said, where did you get my name? Well, they gave me the name of the person, and it was a client of mine that I sold their property 15 years ago.
Wow.
When they were transferred from Regina to Ottawa. And it was very interesting because the gentleman in the RCMP called me. He wanted to list with me. They didn't want to move until July. He called me in December. And he was very cautious. He was a very cautious type person, and he hadn't got his final papers on the transfer, so he wouldn't list his house right away,
Yep.
and he wanted to list it in May or June. So I looked at the market, and it was 15 years ago, and these things don't change. You know, the way you do real estate and the proper way to do real estate doesn't change. And I said, look, Louis, his first name was Louis. I said, look, we hardly have any listings. I want to put your house on the market now. Oh, the brakes were on, let me tell you. Oh, there's no way, we don't want to move the children. And I said, listen, I'm going to get you that July possession. He says, this is December, and I don't have my papers. I says, well, let's do this. Let's put your house on the market conditional to you receiving your final papers, and it was going to be in the next 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Can you do that? Well, sure, we can do it. We take an offer, it's conditional. If your papers don't come through,
No
you
deal.
don't sell your house.
Yeah.
No deal. Okay, thought about that, got him over that hump. Well, what about this possession? You're telling me you can sell my house now and get me a July possession? And I said, yes, and we are probably going to get more money and sell it quicker at this time of year because we have no competition. Can you do that? If I can't do it, you don't sign it. And you know what? You don't pay me either, and neither does the RCMP. So we put the house on the market. I sold it in a few days, conditional to him getting his papers, which he did, and his documents came through in the next week or 2 weeks, and I got him a first week in July possession. Perfect example. Now, he's moved to Ottawa. I send him a calendar every year, and I try to call them every year, and they remembered that. And so when they referred me, they said, listen, he led us down the right path, got us good money, got us the possession, and they didn't have to worry about their house being sold and knew it was sold in January. So it is that supply and demand, and your agent has to read that, and they have to communicate it to you, and they can't be weak about it. They have to tell you the goods.
Well, and this is the thing, too, and I want to get into this because we are, again, into a new year. December 31st, it's almost like triple witching hour on the markets. A lot of listings expire December 31st. A lot of people unsuccessful. And is that because it's a bad market? Is that because the agent didn't do their job? Is it serendipity? What is that, Irv?
So are you asking me why they're expiring on December 31st or just why they're expiring?
Both. We'll go with December 31st first.
Well, December 31st, I don't know why agents write that date. I guess when they're doing the listing, they don't want to put 2011. All of a sudden the seller says, oh, gee, you're not going to sell my house till next year, even though they might have only listed it at the end of October. So I think it's just a date often they write in, and just like often when agents are writing offers for buyers, one of the worst dates you can ever write is July 1st, but they do it all the time. The lawyers aren't working, and it's a busy day, and it's not a good day, and I think December 31st is like that as well. So let's get to the second question. It's not quite as palatable to answer, okay? So why do homes expire? There's only one reason why homes expire in my mind. And I look at some things pretty cut and dried, and the only reason a home expires is an agent. It is the agent's responsibility, and why the house is expiring and not sold is the agent did not do their job.
I do want to give you a website address.
Okay.
A lot of information on the site. I've always said this is such a great resource for people if they want to get more info. www.irvsells.ca. That's irvsells, all one word, .ca. Or people can call you as well at the
Absolutely.
office. 790-3753, 790-3753. Stay with the break with me.
Sure.
You're listening to Inside Real Estate with Irv Tremblay from Century 21. Back after this.